podcast is not for kids. It's a podcast where four friends get together and we try to tell each other facts about the world or about how we found out facts about the world that are amazing enough that someone else in the podcast will say, "Holy fucking science!" Good job, everybody. I didn't tell anyone that we were going to do that.
We're professionals.
Quick learners.
Yeah, I did a hand gesture that got everybody together on that one, and I'm really proud. Today we are joined by Heather McKee. Say hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing great. I've got a babysitter for our kids, so I'm
Yeah, us
great.
too.
This feels like a
Yeah.
double date, you guys.
That's
awesome.
We're drinking.
Heather is a friend. I've known Heather for, I don't know, 35 years.
Let's approximately
Give or take.
The whole time.
most of our adulthood.
Yeah, the whole time we've been in Montana
Essentially, it
anyway.
seems like. Yeah.
And we're also here with Dave Loos,
Hi.
who is Heather's man
Yes.
Friend.
friend.
My
Husband.
man friend.
Also husband.
Person.
And Dave, what do you do?
I'm the COO of DFTBA.
Yes, our merchandise company.
Yeah. I've worked for you in just a variety of capacities
true.
for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
But currently, and
Worked
for the
wi-
most
and
amount
worked
of time.
with me. That's
Worked
how
with
I
you.
usually
Okay.
say it.
Yeah. But yeah, I met Hank and Catherine on the same day I met Heather.
Yeah.
So that was a great day.
How
Were we all
about
wasted?
Probably.
Yeah.
It was grad
It was
school.
a party at her house.
It was
Back in
my-
the day.
it was
Yeah.
my
The day when
30th
we could have
birthday.
more than one
Yeah.
beer and
Mhm.
still wake up the next morning.
There was a whole
Yeah.
keg.
There was a whole keg.
I mean,
The
I
time.
literally don't remember it, so
It
Well,
was a luau.
you didn't meet your spouse at that
It's a
point.
luau.
Was it that? Wait, was it that luau?
It was a luau.
Mhm.
Well, whose house was it at?
That was at the little blue house.
is this part of the podcast?
Was it your house? Hey, that's fine.
People are interested in this.
Yeah, it's science.
Maybe.
I mean,
Maybe.
anything you say personal is going on your wiki, so just keep that in mind.
It's
Okay.
going on your wiki.
Like we have
Alright.
wikis.
That's apparently how Catherine thinks about all things. We're also joined by Katherine
Yay.
Katherine Green, who is my wife.
I am Hank's wife.
How's it going?
The end.
Yeah. How's my baby?
He's lovely.
Okay, good.
He's made of flesh and bones and
Adorableness.
yeah, mostly just real cuteness right now. He's
so
like
cute.
he is a
Very
peak-
healthy looking.
He is healthy looking. He has what I like to call biscuit arms.
Mm-hmm.
Just look like biscuits stacked on top of each other. I just want to eat them.
Stop them up with some gravy.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I just showed
roll
Michael
him
Gardner
around
the
in gravy.
picture of
Blah.
him on the baby swing, and he was like, "Whoa!" Like that was his reaction to seeing my child. Whoa!
He is very robust looking.
Yeah, he was like, "How much is he? How many?"
He's just one.
He's
He's just one baby,
One
but
baby.
he's extra.
Yeah, but there are two babies his age that could add up to be less weight than him.
There's lots to love.
Sure. Oh yeah,
he's got.
not-
There's a lot of him to go around.
Yeah. He's not like overweight.
Whoa.
He's just real healthy.
Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's brag. What are
Should
our
we?
degrees in?
Sure.
What
Go
are
ahead.
what's your degrees in?
Sure, I have a degree in biology from Pomona College, and I also have a master's of science from the University of Montana.
Uh huh.
And you are also now a master naturalist.
Oh, I'm also a master naturalist.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just completed that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a master naturalist, but I do have an MS in environmental studies from University
Yeah,
of
we've all
Montana.
got that one.
Yeah,
We all got that. We all got that one.
Well, my first one's
I'm
not a
gonna
science.
say it anyway.
Yeah.
Good.
My-
Because
Yes.
Took
yeah.
me 6
okay.
years
well, my
to get
first
it,
degree is
so-
in journalism, so
Nice.
from American University,
Mhm.
not science exactly.
hey,
No.
But you did environmental.
I did do environmental reporting
and
for
science
Yeah.
communication
In
you know,
is
a
important.
long time
Look
ago in
yourself
the
up.
very
Look
first
yourself up.
career.
I have my biochemistry degree and also an MS in environmental studies from the University of Montana. Like apparently everyone else in the world.
At least everybody in Missoula.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
all-
everyone we hang out with.
Mostly
of
all
my
of our
friends.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Once you
there's-
find good people, don't go. Don't just stay there.
A lot of them have stayed.
A lot of them have
Mhm.
and come
Love.
back.
Yeah.
I have a BS in environmental studies from Eckerd College
Yeah.
and also a Master of Science in
In this-
environmental
in-
studies
Yeah.
from the
Insane.
University of Montana. Yeah. And I do jack with it. Holla!
Holla.
Thanks for all
Which
my
is-
degrees,
Yep.
mommy.
I think
I worked hard on
I
them.
think mostly you paid for
Mostly
those
I did,
degrees.
actually.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
may have helped in the end.
Maybe.
Paying off the loans.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
student loans. I'm still working on $146 a month.
There's no reason to pay. This is a
Stupid.
tip,
Chipping away at
from this couch. There's no reason to pay off your student loans so fast. Everybody's obsessed with paying off their
Well,
student loans.
depends
it's extremely low interest.
Yeah, it depends what your interest rate is. I consolidated mine at a very low interest rate. This is really not interesting, guys. Wow.
I mean,
It's all going on the wiki.
there's Katherine Green consolidated her student loans at a very low
In
interest rate.
Already been written by
2007.
someone who's watching the stream.
Anyhow, this is not a podcast about financial advice or school.
This is all information that could be used to determine what my passwords are. That's
Yeah,
why I'm real
totally.
private about
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it's like
stuff.
because
Don't tell people your middle name.
Oh, nothing about your parents.
Yeah.
Or where you grew up, what
Yeah.
elementary school you went to. Never share
Your-
that.
Your first pet?
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Which, of course, people know what my first pet is. I have talked about everything.
Yeah.
I have no safe password questions.
That's really
like
tough
if
for me.
I know the answer, someone else does too. People know more about me than I do.
Well,
Oh,
let's talk
totally.
about our mother's maidens' names next.
Yes, everybody go around. Everybody, what's your mother's maiden name? And the last five digits of your social.
We're going to give him 5 instead of the usual
Yeah,
4.
I don't know why I chose 5.
Yeah.
This podcast is brought to you by Big Sky Brewing.
Is it really?
It is. Yeah.
Oh.
They give us free beer.
Oh, that's so nice of them. I was wondering. I was like, what's up with the
Why is it all Big Sky?
Yeah. Available in Missoula, Montana and some other places
36
too.
other states.
And for free
Wait,
at
wait.
the airport, near
Like-
the airport.
Yeah, they're in 36 other states.
Like
36
Retail?
total states. Yeah, retail.
well, not just at bars and stuff.
I have no idea.
Because I've seen Moose Drool on
Yeah. It's
Like-
mostly Moose Drool
like-
that you can buy out other places.
And you can go to their brewery and get free beer.
holy fucking
can.
science, guys.
Yeah. I mean, so basically,
Canning
what you are
facilities,
now sitting in
technology.
on a Hank and Catherine and Heather and Dave hangout on any regular night, except there's no board games. Like that's the big difference.
Oh. Did you guys bring any?
There's a lot of lights and I'm quite
The
hot.
audience would really love that.
It's a little bit warmer than our usual.
Just start playing Ticket to Ride or something.
quietly. So
So they can't see.
we are all members of this great big human family, but we also all have families. Catherine and I made a baby recently, and you guys have been been at that for a while.
We've made 2.
So
Yep.
we're gonna have holy fucking science on families today. So everybody brought something to do with families that they wanted to share, and we're gonna start with the person who was born in the let's go by sibling order. So I was second.
I was also second.
You were second, but later. You took longer.
That's true.
You're only, and
First.
you're first. So Dave's gonna go first.
We're not the only.
I don't care. I decided.
Okay, well, okay.
Wait, because it's equal. You guys are equal, and Dave talked last.
Okay.
Wow.
Is it too much pressure? Do you not want to go first?
No.
Okay.
Let's talk.
Okay, you didn't want to get a little bit like a couple beers deep before you went.
I've almost finished my first.
Excellent.
By,
Wow, I'm like a tenth of the way through.
again, this is date night for us, so we're, yeah.
So you,
We got a babysitter.
you don't want to wake up in the morning.
I think I do have to work tomorrow, but
Maybe.
well, this was first described to me as kind of science families,
Mm-hmm.
which
I
I,
mean,
guess is
The nice thing about the topics is that you can
interpret them as
yes,
anyhow.
very broadly.
I started thinking about if there was like a Mount Rushmore for scientific families.
Oh, crap. I like this idea.
Who would be on
Yeah.
that? Who would be on Mount
Oh
Rushmore?
yeah,
I've they talk about like who would be on Mount Rushmore for sports teams and things like that.
they
so
do.
They do.
Mm,
I
Sports.
had never heard them.
No, I
Yeah.
haven't heard of that. I never considered like
audience.
the
I'll
Mount
move on.
Rushmore for another thing.
But yeah,
But obviously, yes.
I do like the idea.
Yeah.
Picking the top 4.
Oh, who would be your science Mount Rushmore?
Well, the problem is I started looking at this and it's really just like there's one family at the top, the Curies,
yeah, they're good.
and then like everyone
Yeah.
below them is kind of like maybe they belong on there.
Yeah, or they got some like artists in their family too, and you're like,
Oh.
I don't know.
Don't want them on
it
the
doesn't-
scientific Mount Rushmore.
Not artists.
Get off.
I mean, I did
Um,
some research into that as well because of the pitch initially, and then I was like,
I just didn't get. I mean, the Curie family has won 5 Nobel prizes.
yeah,
Yeah.
you can't.
So it's like
Yeah.
the top.
Mhm.
hmm
And I mean, even like her daughter, who died in 2007
Wow.
at age 102.
Wow.
Was just
Wow.
discovered,
Huh.
which is amazing.
Wow. Yeah, that's,
What
I had
was
no
her
idea.
name? Eve. Yeah,
That's a
she
good
was the
name.
director of UNICEF when it won the Nobel Peace Prize.
So there's a Peace Prize in the Curie family too.
They are,
Well, that doesn't count.
That's
That's
not a science prize.
I think you
But-
just. Well, it's a Nobel.
Peace.
You're right. Okay, so
Peace, whatever. What is that? Is that really what we're working for?
can there be?
Catherine's panicking. Who am I married to?
I'm counting it. I'm counting it. It's a still
No,
Nobel.
yeah, you should count.
Hank's in the podcast room, and he's a different person.
Okay, so is 4 anything to?
Yes, 4 is
no,
great.
Four
it's
is
great.
Yeah,
Still,
let's
it's
do
still
that.
good. It's 4 more than we have.
Yeah, it's yeah. It's infinitely more
All of us? You mean?
combined.
Yeah.
Combined, we do not have 4.
No.
But there's a, there's 2 physics Nobels. There's 1 chemistry. No, it's 2 chemistry, because her other daughter won the chemistry
my
Nobel in
God.
1935.
Whoa.
So maybe we just make a Mount Rushmore with all 4 Curies.
Just a
and
bunch of
move on.
Curies. Yeah.
But
I'll get my chisel ready.
Call it Mount Curie.
Yeah.
how long can that take to do?
I don't know. Somebody get working. You could carve it out of wood, and I'll pay you like $100 for it.
Just a model.
Somewhere it's been done.
That's
somewhere-
It
that's all
just
takes.
happened.
Somewhere someone's doing it right now.
Yeah.
The kind of the runners up. The Leakey family, the anthropologists.
Okay. Yeah.
Hmm.
There are a bunch of them their son is still working today. He's still
Mhm.
around.
Mhm.
The Bernoulli family.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
Yes.
I went to their
When you said
Wikipedia
the-
and there's like
Okay.
15 Bernoullis.
Yeah.
It's funny, like there's a bunch of Bernoulli, like things that are called like the Bernoulli this or the Bernoulli equation or the principle, and it's just like,
Mhm.
oh, it turns out
Yeah.
that's not the same guy.
No.
No.
Different Bernoullis.
So there's just so many of them.
Yeah.
Sheer volume. Maybe they get
Yeah.
theirs.
And they're like math stuff mostly, right?
Yeah, physicists and mathematicians is pretty much. Bernoulli numbers are named after Jacob Bernoulli, while the Bernoulli principle is named after Daniel Bernoulli. I don't know exactly how they're related.
Jake and Dan.
Yeah, they are not father son. I don't believe, although someone will almost assuredly correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Um,
Certainly.
but
they-
they were like 15 listed in that family in kind of like the 1700s, 1600s, 1700s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the interesting thing
Well,
to
yeah.
me. Like they're active in like this period of
Mhm.
time, and then what happened.
Right.
Whereas like the Curies were active,
The-
much more modern.
somewhere along the line that
Artists
it's just,
came out.
Yeah, the artists. They
I
used all
love
that Bernoulli-
artists.
They used
I'm
all that
just
Bernoulli
joking.
money
This is,
to.
this is what we call
take up-
jokes,
Yeah, I
guys.
think people know.
They
Okay.
used the Bernoulli inheritance to take art
Sure.
classes.
Yeah. The inheritance of that comes from all that great physicsing that you did in the 1700s.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Not
When it was
necessarily
real.
something you make a bunch of money off of, but usually these families are rich already, and that's why they start.
That's why they can do
in that era.
science.
And it's not like
Yeah.
maybe those guys would have had like 17 Nobel Prizes. It didn't exist back then.
When did the Nobel Prize start?
I don't know.
Well, Alfred
mean-
Nobel
He was in.
after him.
Like post Alfred Nobel, 1901.
Yeah, so-
The will of the Swedish inventor Alfred Nobel established the prizes in 1895. I don't know why I said 1901.
Because it says 1901
It does-
right
it
there.
does. The prizes in chemistry, literature, peace, physics, and physiology or medicine were first awarded in 1901.
And the Curies won him in 1903.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
they
so
were
not
one
the
of the first. So
Um,
if you can think of anyone else who deserves to be on Mount Rushmore,
Darwin's got a bit of a thing. Like Erasmus Darwin, I think was his granddad. I have his Wikipedia page open,
right now.
but like I had forgotten between the time when I opened the page and now. And then I think that there's also some.
There's some Einstein, not really so much science as like engineering. Like his family was a bunch of engineers.
Before him, 'Cause did
Mhm.
Einstein have kids?
Yes, he did. Also, some kids that maybe didn't survive though. So, yeah, that they didn't know about.
Yeah. So
No, Heather's very sad now.
Yeah.
This
okay,
is
well,
yeah.
we got 3 families
Uh-huh.
on Mount Rushmore.
Uh-huh.
It's good.
But Darwin's a good one.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah, I
just
don't know
some-
what Erasmus Darwin did. I just I feel like he did something.
I mean, the
Probably
thing-
talked about him
The
at
thing
some point.
about like Mount Rushmore is it's like an exceptional individual, so it's not really like the family thing. But
Right.
We're changing the rules.
yes, okay.
We're putting
all right.
entire
'Cause you'd have
families.
that would be a lot of
as- we're-
faces. It'd be a lot more faces.
Just yeah, so basically what you're saying is you take a mountain and you just put people's like family names on it. Bernoulli, Curie.
Okay, the name.
There's
You could
their
have a
name up there.
representative individual.
Or a representative, or just like sort
Yeah.
of like morph all their faces into one.
Oh.
So it's like this is what their genes did.
Ugh.
All right, let's kickstart it.
That doesn't turn out well generally, I feel like.
I think the more you average, this is the thing I saw recently. Like if you take like 300 people's faces and you average them together, the more like they become more attractive.
Oh,
on
really?
average, yeah. And you end up sort of with the face that is like, freaking Ryan Seacrest. It's just like you look like an attractive
Vague-
blandness.
vague
Because like any
attractiveness.
outstanding features get like averaged
Yeah.
into
Uh-huh.
something right in the middle.
Yeah, I feel bad for Ryan Seacrest. We really tore him apart on our sharks episode, or not our what episode was it?
Shark.
We gave him a hard. It was the T-Rex. It was the dinosaurs episode.
What did Ryan
Of this
Seacrest-
podcast?
Apparently, Ryan Seacrest got bit by a shark, and I'm using air quotes because he stepped on a shell, and then he told everybody that he got bit by a shark, and then he had to fill out some paperwork because there's paperwork you have to fill out when you get bit by a shark. And then he was like, I actually just like people to talk about me. And this is like maybe he actually did get bit by a shark, but it seems like he probably stepped on a shell.
On a seashell.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's okay. That dude, he's very talented, and he's
Very
got like
rich.
$500 million.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
who
he's doing
cares?
okay.
Very
He's
rich.
alright.
He's stepping right into that Regis Philbin role.
He is.
He doesn't even, so it's fine.
kind of
He's
a
just
Dick
famous
Clark.
for being,
Yeah.
Dick
Well, he's
Clark,
on the
Philbin.
he's
Yeah.
Regis and Kelly now. He is the new Regis.
Welcome to the Science Podcast.
Welcome to the Science Podcast. This week in Ryan's.
Okay.
Okay, so here's a question.
I'm
Are
confused.
you
Where am I?
did you do your thing?
My Mount Rushmore over.
Is
Is that
that, I
your
mean,
thing?
is that?
No,
Yeah.
keep going if you're working
I
on
got no one else.
Rushmore.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
That's
unless
good.
there's
That's
some
good science
modern-
families.
Unless there's
What
some
about
modern-
the Wilsons for like ecology?
I know only one Wilson.
EO,
Yep.
that one.
With I don't even know what his actual name is.
I mean, typically, like, there were a lot of, like, husband and wife teams that did, like, anthropology things. They would go and, like, live with,
Right.
a tribe.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe those people then had kids, but I don't, it's like,
So are
it's
you
not
talking
this
exclusively
dynasty thing where it,
dynasties?
like,
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
looking for
continues
just
along in
dynasties
generations.
on this
Yeah,
Rushmore.
because there's, like, couples that are always doing these things
Yeah, like
together.
more than
but
two, I would say. Like, yeah, there are a lot of.
it's got to be
duos,
3
But
generations.
once you get, like a brother or a sister, just
Right, okay, yeah.
we're just making up the rules anyway.
Sure.
So, I don't know.
I agree with your rules.
But who knows? There's could be modern day ones that we just don't know about right now.
Yeah.
And we won't for 50 years.
Be happening right now.
That's
Right
true.
now.
They're out there pipetting furiously.
Pipetting.
Waiting.
Furiously pipetting.
That's a funny phrase.
Yep. You liked it. So
Erlenmeyer flasking.
Yeah. Just like
I'm trying to find
Bunsen
a
burnering.
furiously Bunsen burnering.
People in the comments can suggest.
Here's a piece of trivia that I know. Carl Gauss did not want any of his sons to enter mathematics or science for fear of, quote, lowering the family name, as he believed none of them would surpass his own achievements.
Wow.
What? Wow.
Wow.
So I guess there's 2 ways to approach it.
Wow.
Wow. What a
What did,
dickhead.
what did he try to send them into?
But just painting,
Business.
chisels.
Chisels.
They didn't sculpt. They made chisels.
Okay.
I got into the chiseling game. Not chiseling, but into the chiseled chisels. Somebody has to chisel the chisels.
You're damn right.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Huh.
I had
Heather,
Coke.
what's up?
Heather's next.
Okay,
Hey, all
There
right.
we go.
So
there it
this actually-
is.
Only child next.
This isn't what. So this is a pretty good segue, actually, because we're talking about dynasties.
Mhm.
So, like, how does that happen? Why does that happen?
Yeah.
Right. So we have kids, and we want our kids to have certain traits. You know, like you realize, like you have this little like puddle of human that you have now, and
Mhm.
it's just this little blank human, and it's like, what is the world, and what kind of traits do you want your person to
Mhm.
have?
And
Like,
can
what
I
ki-
get
what
it-
kind
can
of
I get
traits
it-
do you
Can I
want?
inject you with them with
Can
a
I
syringe?
inject you with the scientist trait? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what kind of traits do you guys want little dude to have?
I was just thinking. I was just trying to really get him to like flowers the other day because it's very
yes,
Small
springy.
steps.
It's
yes,
a lot
yes.
of there's a lot of beautiful flowers. We walk past flowers every day, and I'm like always sticking his face in the flowers, and he's like
I'll
In
put
my
them
mouth.
in my mouth.
right in the mouth,
I need these.
tries to grab it and put it in his mouth, and that's not really
No, not really how you want him to enjoy the flowers.
Yeah.
Not that particular way.
no.
But some
At the moment,
naturalists
but yeah.
actually do recognize plant families by tasting them. So
Sure.
Sure.
legit.
Maybe
He
that'll come
definitely
along.
like as
but
soon as you show him a flower, he's like grab mouth.
Yeah.
And he does that with everything. To be
pretty
clear.
much puts
Yeah.
puts everything in his mouth, so it's not special.
So you want
for
him
the
to love
flowers, but
flowers
Yeah,
to appreciate
that's just
nature?
one thing I thought
Yeah.
about.
I would like him to be extremely wealthy so he can take care of me in my old age. Is that a thing that I can inject him with?
That is a
Be a
great
trait.
goal.
I might suggest that like compassion might be
No,
a good
yeah, no,
one,
totally.
whether or
It's
not
funny,
he has
like-
a bunch
like
of money.
With the
Both.
You could get you a boy who could do both. We have a bunch of like these like children's books that we read to him, and occasionally like we get like they've been given to us, and occasionally they will be like definitely imbued with like straight up environmentalist propaganda, but in a way that I'm in favor of.
Like what?
Well, Vicky Watson gave us one, which is a professor that many of us had, and I think it's called
It's called Hug Time.
Hug Time, and it's
called
about
Hug
a
Time.
cat who wants to hug every species on Earth,
Oh.
and he
Pretty much
discovers
everyone,
he,
not just every species, but
yeah,
every
every single
every
individual.
single
And so he hugs a blue whale, and he finds a new species in Africa, and he's talking about how frail the world is, and how big but also small it is, and it's just like, yeah. You think this is about a cat who wants to hug stuff, but really it's about how like we can't fuck this shit up.
We need to take care of this.
So as subtle as the Lorax, pretty much.
Yeah.
I haven't read the Lorax recently,
I have no idea.
or really, maybe ever.
You
So
haven't?
But it seems pretty heavy-handed.
It's not subtle, no.
Yeah.
And they really screwed up the movie.
Oh.
I couldn't tell you.
know.
So you want them to appreciate
Yeah, I want
the
them to
natural
be
world that
empathetic.
sustains
Yeah.
us.
Right. Yeah.
An appreciation for that.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
that's clearly something we both
Yeah, I mean,
value, having gotten
basically-
our master's degrees in
all
environmental-
of us.
well,
I do-
environmental
Four of
studies.
us.
I definitely. Yeah. I mean,
I want
like,
him to like enjoy reading,
sure.
you know, like for pleasure
Mhm.
in whatever.
Right, but also
Yeah.
Minecraft.
That's not on my list, but
You
you
know,
know,
honestly, if this kid does not like playing sim games, I'm gonna have a problem. Or Lego. Like if he's not into Lego, I'm just
Gotta
like,
be
Okay,
into
let's
Lego.
move. What about move away from
Right.
specifics? Generalities, like
Yeah, no,
compassion, right? We
empathy.
want
Yeah.
yes,
generosity,
thoughtfulness, like interest and
thoughtfulness,
complexity. Yeah.
kindness,
Yeah,
you
all that
know,
stuff.
like
Yeah.
above all. And then there's one that like I get really excited when Shay is really kind to his sister or when Hazel is generous with him. But the one that gets me like
another
really
kid.
pumped is when they're curious about something. Like when
Right,
we're outside
yeah.
and they're like, Mama, look at this dragonfly. Like, what is it doing? Or why is this spider on this flower?
Mhm.
Like curiosity, I feel like is
Yeah.
something I really want to cultivate in our kids. And if
It's
you think about
major.
these like science
Mhm.
dynasties, you wonder like how do you create a scientist?
Mhm.
Like I imagine that at some point those families, those parents were cultivating curiosity
Mm.
in their children.
Mhm.
And like they ask a lot of questions and most of them are inane.
Mhm.
But every once in a while, like I made a short list of some of the ones Shay's asked me, like
Our 5-year-old.
in the past year. That's our 5-year-old. What is electricity? How is it not coming out of the outlets all of the time?
Yeah.
Is lightning electricity? How does a bird actually take off from the water? What was there before the universe? Is there more than one universe? What is sound? How is sound made? How does it get in our ears?
You answered all those, right?
I tried.
Because I didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure you did your best
Oh,
because that's
I really
you
like
know,
like
I feel like I've
why
used
isn't
my-
the electricity jumping out of the outlets? Like it's in there.
It's in there.
Why isn't it getting
Why
us
isn't it
right
coming out?
now?
Right?
What is keeping it in there? What and how do we not let it out?
You're like 2 years away from answering these questions.
Oh, I'm so excited about these questions.
I'm so excited to have Hank answer that.
I feel like I've used my science degree
Yeah.
like more with my
Yeah.
child
Mhm.
than I have in my actual
Mhm.
working life.
That's great.
But so curiosity, we want to cultivate curiosity. And so when I was just kind of looking up like curiosity, how do you teach curiosity to children? It's innate, but how do you help them value that as they get older?
Foster it. Yeah.
Yeah, how do you foster it? And there's actually a guy, Todd Kashdan, professor of psychology at George Mason University that's written a whole book on curiosity, discover the missing ingredient to a fulfilling life.
Mm-hmm.
I was reading
And
something
have
about
you
how
re-
curiosity is like, it's one of the things that allows people to like, like accept other people's viewpoints.
Yeah.
yes.
And like, so we can have like a
Yeah.
discussion instead of being like,
Right.
"Oh, I'm right. No.
Yeah,
Exactly,
Yeah,
it's-
like there's lots of innate things that like create division and that like further division, but
Mhm.
curiosity is like the only innate thing that can actually lessen division. Where you're
Mhm.
like, why do you think that?
Right.
Mm.
Instead of just
That's
judging someone
fascinating.
for
Why
thinking what
why
they
would
think.
you why would you
Mhm.
think that thing? That's very
Mhm.
weird.
Mhm.
And instead of being like that's very gross or that's very wrong, like that's very interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Which you can be simultaneous, and I find that that simultaneous a lot. Where
Sure.
I'm like, that's awful, but why?
Mhm.
Why? Right.
Mhm.
And that's the hook
Mhm.
that can get you
Yeah.
in and over that division,
Right.
that curiosity. And so he actually has suggestions for what you can do.
Oh, good.
Tell me
Yeah.
what to
Yeah,
do.
and I
Yeah.
feel like yay, like I feel like
Did I cut your list of child questions off, or was that all of them?
Oh, no, that was it. You know,
Okay.
like what kind of traits do you want your child to
No,
have?
no.
And-
The questions that your kids asked you.
Oh no. There's plenty more, but
Okay.
that was just like
Yeah,
Not
Those
all
were the
science
science
related.
ones.
yeah,
Yeah.
those are mostly the
The sciencey ones.
mostly science. I mean, he's got more. I mean, there are millions, I feel like, every
Yeah.
day. And maybe just to talk about that, like I don't always have the answers,
Sure.
but I feel like maybe what's important to do when he asks me those questions is let him know that I think it's important that he's asking questions.
hmm
And
And also, like, why do you think?
right, yeah. Let's
Like,
start
like-
start hypothesizing. Let's
Yeah.
start theorizing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think? How do you think birds get off? How do you think they actually get off of the
Mhm.
water?
And then like be like, and you're wrong, because I think that's like sometimes
Yes.
sometimes I feel like that like what we do is we're like, I'm pretty sure I know how that works,
Oh boy.
and then
no.
that becomes the way that it works.
Mm-hmm.
And then when somebody says it doesn't work that way, then you get mad.
Yeah, it's also okay to be like, I don't know.
Yes,
super.
so many times.
Instead
I
of just,
say,
instead
"I
of just
don't
being
know."
like magic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is that
Frickin'
just what you do?
magnets.
God, that's
Is
a
that-
good one.
is
Wait,
that
that's a
kinda-
good one.
Is that counterproductive?
It's magic, son. I hope you enjoyed the magic.
Let's move on.
I do always say like how
Put
amazing it
your
is
damn
though. Like if
pants
we're
on.
talking about the natural world, it is amazing. I mean, it's
Mm.
kind of like magic, but yes, there are
Yeah.
real like ecological and physical principles that allow these
Mhm.
things to happen.
Mhm.
But
I just say holy fucking
amazing.
science. And we go on to the next question.
Yeah. How many universes are there? Holy fucking science. Put your pants on. It's time for bed. Stop asking questions.
well, here's something you guys might not know about curiosity,
Okay.
though. So apparently, one type of curiosity is good, and one type of curiosity is not so good.
Is this from the book?
This is from another study that he was part of,
Mhm.
and they studied 300 college students, and they had them fill out essentially personality surveys, very in-depth personality surveys, and so most of these are going to be correlational. But what they found is that people who had an exploratory curiosity, in other words, people who wanted to explore and be challenged by new things,
Mm.
it had a much higher predictiveness for happiness, for self-esteem. But this other type of curiosity, this absorptive curiosity, and anybody who's a psych person out
Holla.
there can
That's the one I've got, is
clarify
what
or
I'm saying.
redefine these things because I'm doing my best as a non-psych person. This absorptive curiosity, where you are in depth on a very specific thing,
Mm.
was actually predictive for lower self-esteem. So
Interesting.
versus being novel things, exploratory things, challenging
okay.
things, versus being tied to a very specific,
Mm.
in-depth particular
Mm.
subject.
That's weird because I feel like a lot of like the education that we do now is like specialize, specialize,
Get deeper and
specialize,
deeper and
specialize,
deeper and
specialize,
deeper.
specialize.
Yeah.
Exactly. And,
And
how
then-
interested are kids often in
Yeah.
school?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel that way. Like, I think this isn't always the case, but I often find that like the first blush with some new topic is like,
This is the best thing ever. This is the best thing ever.
that.
Probably
Mhm.
having a little tiny orgasm. That's what I feel like happens to Hank sometimes when he gets really excited about
Woo,
something
it's
new.
so
It's
fun.
totally like that
Yeah.
sort of just
It's like,
like
I
Yeah.
can't talk
my
right
brain
now.
exploded.
I'm thinking
Like
about
how-
feathers.
Like, how happy does curiosity make you? Yes, you're thinking about feathers. I should have brought some.
Yeah.
We have a chicken farm.
They're
really
like
good.
fluffy fingernails.
Oh God.
We'll bring feathers next time.
Yeah.
You guys, Buck, yeah, you got plenty.
We do have chickens.
We have chickens.
I just like being in the like periphery of that experience
Then
of Hank.
I can be like, Catherine, let me tell you what I learned about feathers.
Uh,
Yeah, I mean, like,
let it
just-
wash over me, Hank. Let it wash.
yeah.
Oh my God. What?
What?
What is it? This is weird.
So do you
What's
guys want to
happening?
know what the things?
Yeah,
we
what
can-
should
we
I
can
do?
Are okay. What should
yeah.
we do? What should we do? And it really let's listen to these. So there's 4 big things. So, 4 big things that Todd Cashdown is telling us here. Try to notice little details of your daily routine that you never noticed before.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking to people, try to remain open. Let novelty unfold and resist the temptation to control the flow.
Mm-hmm.
And then gently allow your attention to be guided by little sights, sounds, or smells that come your way.
Mm.
These are all really interesting to me because it basically sounds like mindfulness.
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah, it's
our kid
very
goes to like a
similar.
mindfulness preschool. And like
Yeah.
these are the same, like
Mhm.
be present,
Mhm.
be
Right.
curious about what is immediately around you and be open to it.
Mhm.
The end.
Yeah.
And encourage your children
Mm-hmm.
to do so. Have your children, the first thing you said, you have him smell flowers that are right there. Yeah.
Look at this poppy.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah. I think he wants to taste it. That's part of it too, right? Tasting
Yeah.
your environment. I don't think that
I
was
mean,
on the
that's-
list.
that's a
but
lot- that's
the
just,
sounds, smells. Well, he didn't put tastes, but clearly taste should be part
I
of
mean,
it.
I honestly don't think that he wants to taste things. I think that he just has an extraordinary number of nerve endings in his mouth, and he wants to feel them.
Feel it with his tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
It's like just how he experiences. Because like right now, his
His hands aren't great.
are
You know,
hard-
he's
like, he does not. He's not good with them. Like it's like he's holding a thing, and he's like, I really want to get this into my mouth, and then he's like, shit, I dropped it.
so frustrating.
He's like
much.
these things. He's like it's funny. Like he gets better every day at hand stuff in particular, but like it's so slow. Where he's like, I want that. I'm reaching out to it.
He has to
and
focus
here
so
it
hard.
is, and I'm like, you are a stroke victim.
Oh,
Like, you are
He's
really.
working on those neurons. He's
Yeah,
working
you
on
are
building them
just
up.
learning now.
Yeah.
So you got to work with what senses are most developed currently.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
That's
is like
interesting.
his mouth is very developed, I think. And like when you see, have you guys ever seen the
which makes
nerve,
sense. Like you
the
got to
nerve
eat
ending
first
homunculus?
before you.
What?
manipulate
The nerve ending homunculus.
Nope.
You okay, Catherine?
I don't know. Homunculi make me uncomfortable.
So
Oh.
I think so.
More.
Yeah, no, they're for good reason.
Oh,
So
You'll
there's
see.
there's this thing that people have done to represent. So you know how like they'll do. Are you okay, baby?
No, I'm uncomfortable. I don't like it.
So you know how sometimes they'll
As
like make
expected.
they'll make a map of America where instead of showing you like the geography, they show you how many people there are, and then America gets all stretched out, and like California's really big, and New York is really
Oh,
big.
yeah. Percentage of
Oh,
population,
yes,
yeah.
So, like,
yes,
it
yes.
gets- yeah.
Oh, I think
Yeah.
I have seen it. Okay.
So
Yeah.
the cortical homunculus is what they call it, is doing that to a human body, except instead of showing you its geography, it's just like shape that it takes up in space. You show it by how many nerve endings there are per unit of area of the body, and this is what it looks like. And if you guys want to Google the cortical homunculus, you can see it.
Whoa.
And so your hands have a tremendous number of nerve endings.
Right.
Your
Huge hands.
face, mouth,
Look at that
eyes.
The chin.
tongue.
See, the
Really, I had
chin.
no
Yeah,
idea
yeah.
about the chin
Why
so
Yeah.
much. But
It's just like your whole face is like it's very sensitive to touch. So yeah, it's like lip, and that's by the way, that's not the chin, that's the lips. That's its bottom
that makes
lip.
much more sense.
Because
Yes.
our lips are like
Yeah, I mean-
and
well, you
and the
ever
reason
watch any like monkey videos?
You all should
the
definitely Google that.
reason why so what do you think the reason why we have such giant homunculus lips are?
to pluck fruit from the trees.
No.
To determine what's going to kill us?
To
Poison?
do the thing that we are doing right now. To,
Talking.
to control this
Oh.
extraordinarily
right.
complicated system for making sounds so that we can share information easily.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
We have the big lip, like tons of lip and tongue control.
Was that your fact for the day?
No, that
Oh.
was just
Holy
out of-
fucking science anyway!
I know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, totally off
Anyway,
topic,
sorry,
but
off
it's super
topic.
cool.
But on topic at the
Super
same
cool.
time.
Yeah.
Look at this man. He's so freaky. Oh God, his lips.
Yeah,
Told you.
everyone should definitely Google
Yeah.
that.
Told you I was uncomfortable.
Yeah. It's good. It's good. Sorry, everybody. What's up?
Anyway, that's great. Are
Hands.
you next or me?
I think I'm next.
You're both.
I think I'm next, and I want to forfeit because because my homunculus fact was better.
That
That
was
counts.
better. Yeah,
Uh,
you don't need to. I mean, whatever. You can
Situation.
Do whatever you want.
Not everybody can make babies when they want to.
Correct.
True.
In this, there are basically two situations. There's one where the lady parts don't work, and there's one where the dude's parts don't work. The dude parts is usually a pretty straightforward thing, which is that just the sperm either aren't working, in which case it's actually not a huge problem anymore, because like if their like tails don't work or something, you can still take the genetic information inside of them, put them straight into the egg, and like fertility clinics know how to handle that. But then there's the more complicated problem where you have this is, by the way, related to families because it's how you make a family. You like the genetic information in the sperm is broken, and so like you aren't like the sperm are being created, but in the process of being created, it's just like non-viable genetic information, which is going to happen for a bunch of different reasons. And in that case, basically, there's no solution for that problem. There's another version of this problem that if there's a couple that contains two women, they cannot make a baby together. And if there's a couple that contains two men, they cannot make a baby together using their own genetic information. So in the case of two women, the problem is that there are no sperm. And in the case of a situation with an infertile man whose genetic information, his sperm, it's basically the same problem. Like there's no viable sperm that contains the genetic information of both parties of the couple.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, you can ask a question.
So, what are the qualities of sperm? Like, why couldn't you just, potentially put like two eggs in a blender and get the genetic material out? Like, what are the qualities of a sperm that makes it special to
Yeah.
marry with an egg?
Well, an egg is super different from a sperm. But I cannot answer the question like if you took just the genetic
Right.
part of the egg,
Mhm. Like, what do you?
and,
you?
and just like threw it into another egg, and we're like, fuck.
Yeah.
Would you get a baby? No, you wouldn't, and I don't know why,
Huh.
but you wouldn't. So mostly this research is for fertility for infertile men, but it could also be used in same-sex couples, like same-sex female couples. It could not be used for same-sex male couples because obviously it's much more complicated to make a baby in your body than it is to fertilize an egg. Fertilizing an egg is a much simpler but still extraordinarily complicated task. But in mice, we have been able to take a cell like off of their skin, and this is fairly new research, get it to go back into a stem cell, and then take the stem cell and say, you are now going to become a sperm cell. And then this very weird, this is the hard part, where you actually are, because a sperm cell is completely different from all the cells in your body, and an egg cell is completely different, and then it only has half of the genetic information. So it's undergone meiosis, I think. And it only has half that information, and so it can then combine with half the information in the egg and make a whole baby. Yeah. So getting it to do that last step where instead of it being like a normal cell, it's this weird cell that is only used for reproduction is really hard. But we have done it in mice recently where we have converted a stem cell into a sperm, put that sperm into an egg, and actually gotten that to be a viable embryo, which is, and that then becomes a baby. You can say it.
Holy fucking science!
But like it's,
Eliminating the man. Essentially.
well,
They started with a skin
like,
cell.
It can be a man or a woman. It can be anyone. It
Yeah,
could
yeah.
be you, but don't have it be you because that would be very dangerous.
Mhm.
Because you don't want to make a baby out of just one person's genetic. That would it
Probably not going to turn out well.
It would be much more likely to express
Yeah, it
recessives.
might. Yeah, you might
which
have
you
a lot of
wouldn't want.
recessive problems.
Yeah.
I thought you meant you could make a human mice baby.
No, don't do it with a mouse.
Please don't.
Wait, I'm curious
I was
though.
like,
This is where
whoa,
curiosity can get you.
whoa.
I mean, well, that would definitely would not. That would basically be like fertilizing a human egg with. You could do that now, put like a sperm from a mouse into a human egg, and
Well,
Yeah.
species
Not-
barriers.
I don't know
Yeah.
how far along that embryo would get, but I know it wouldn't go the whole way.
Yeah.
No.
And don't even try it with chimpanzees, you crazy people. Which is literally a thing somebody wanted to do. Don't do that.
Sure, somebody has tried it.
No one has tried it
You don't think
because
anyone's
it's a terrible idea. Don't fuck a monkey or an ape. Only humans, Dave.
I'm not saying it's not a terrible idea.
There's only one rule: don't fuck a monkey. I mean, an ape.
I'm glad that we both went with monkey, though.
I mean, it was better meter wise.
I like that song. There's only one rule: don't fuck a monkey. Only
new
one
theme song.
rule:
I
guess
don't fuck
an
a
ape.
monkey.
Kind of works.
Yeah, don't fuck an ape.
Where is that from?
Catherine and I have
I
a
just made it up in my
we
my
have
life.
a song that
Oh.
we sing during bath time. There's
Great.
only one rule of bath time: don't take a dump.
Oh, that's a mess when that happens.
Oh, we've,
It's gonna happen.
It never happened.
It's only
Still never happened.
It's only happened once with us.
Oh, why do you say so?
5 years.
That is not
5
good.
years
I'm
and only
sorry.
one
That's
bathtub.
pretty good, guys.
Oh.
Pretty good.
Oh man.
I think they were traumatized because I made them stand on top of the tub while I cleaned everything
my God.
underneath, and they were very cold. But,
They were
what
in
you get for taking
together.
a crap in the tub. Yeah, they usually take baths together.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, anyway, so this is a thing that is fairly new. Basically, what they do is they put the stem cell into a pretty specific situation. They put it in the presence of a lot of testosterone, and they actually put it next to the testes. So it's like getting all the hormonal signals, and they don't even know what all those signals are. So they have to have like an actual mouse there to get the cell to differentiate the correct way.
To get the ball hormones.
You got to get those ball hormones.
Get them on.
Um,
Get them. Waft them at it.
but
Is there a wafter?
Yeah,
There's an intern
That's a
wafter.
tool.
yeah, it's just an intern. He's got a hand fan.
No, yeah.
Very small. Just
I
like
gotta
a
go to the
needle.
lab for 10 minutes and waft some.
Some ball hormones at this undifferentiated stem cell. But it's like the problem with this kind of stuff is like if you end up
Hank should have gone last. I don't want to go anymore.
I want to hear. I want to hear what you got.
if you end up with with like you never want to create a baby that's going to have genetic anomalies. Like you don't never want to like be in a situation where you're like, okay, well, we're going to try this out. And it's like, well, now we've made a really messed up like person that has like a very short or very low quality of life.
Yeah.
We don't
So
apparently have that.
we're doing
qualms
we're
lab
doing it with
animals,
mice, but I think we are a long, long way off from doing it with people. And that's basically the end.
Sounds-
But like, it's
sounds
pretty
pretty-
amazing that you can do it with a mouse. That you can impregnate a mouse with a
the
skin
information
cell
from a skin
of,
cell.
of another mouse.
It's not just
or
the information. You
same mouse.
actually said you take that skin cell and have it mutate into
Yeah.
a stem cell. It's not mutating.
Yeah,
It's
differentiate.
just growing.
Yeah, sort of go back into a pluripotent cell.
Interesting.
That means it can become anything.
Yeah, pluripotent. I mean, I have many potentials.
Oh, I
My
like that word.
potency is plural.
Yep, never heard that one.
Pluripotent. No, I haven't heard. I like that.
I keep looking at these lights up here and just blinding myself.
Don't look at the lights; they're very bright.
How many live streamers do we have now?
Really?
We have
Blinky.
We're down to 2.
8.
We lost 4.
Are we not that interested?
Come on, you missed the best part. That I mean,
Poop in the
Is that
bathtub?
poop in the
Poop in the-
tub?
poop-
Yeah,
poop-
there's
poop in the
only one
bathtub.
rule of
And then the
bath
monkey
time.
song.
Get up.
Somebody
missed-
said
I missed the
weekend
monkey
at
song.
Bernoulli's
Oh.
Yes.
at one point. I'll listen to that podcast.
Some good jokes.
There's like, you can talk about each Bernoulli. It's a
Yeah.
15-part podcast.
It's a 15-part podcast. They're all dead. But we found their bodies and we're having a beach party with them. It's just like 17th century skeletons.
Maybe we could reanimate them somehow.
Yep. Well, I mean, we'll reanimate them with strings and wires, just like Bernie.
Yeah.
Man, we should watch Weekend at Bernie's.
Is that not one of Nick Jenkins'
I don't think it's on
25
the
great
list.
American
I
classics?
don't think it's on the list.
Probably not on the
It's
list,
not?
Oh
but
my
it is
God,
a classic.
like Weekend at Bernie's is like interestingly in the cultural mind, but like I can't remember much about it. And also,
yeah,
is it
I'm not sure I've ever
okay?
seen the
I've
entire
definitely
We all know the
seen it.
premise,
episode,
but-
show. Nope.
Never watched
Film,
the whole
there it
thing
is.
through.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen it at least once, and I believe I've seen Weekend at Bernie's too.
Yeah, there's a sequel.
There is.
How?
Because
What?
Because
Did a
You're gonna
lot,
get away with
'cause
that
he's not
twice, or
totally
is he dead
decayed yet?
again?
a
What?
different person
Which
died.
Bernie is it?
Yeah,
Is it a second
like,
Bernie?
How much Febreze is happening
oh,
here
worst.
with Bernie? Weekend at Bernie's. Where
I
is it
mean,
on
it's a
Netflix?
literal decomposing corpse, guys. Ha ha! Let the jokes.
Wait.
Roll.
Is there a Weekend at Bernie's 3?
Well, there are no original ideas left in Hollywood, so
I mean, why haven't we made remake Weekend at Bernie's? Start with like
Wow.
because honestly, it's been a generation, so it's only a matter of time before the remake.
it's gonna happen, yeah.
Podcast.
Isn't it
Science
nervous laughter
podcast. This is the science podcast. Talk about homunculi and pooping in the bath. So, Catherine, it's your turn now.
Yeah, families. Hey.
Hey.
So the only thing that came to my mind was I was wondering about our microbiome, how the human
Oh, so much to wonder about.
species has this community of tiny
Mhm.
organisms that lives on it
And in it.
and in it in various you've got just a different kind of microbe living on your face
Mhm.
than is living in between your toes or on your hands or
There's like a distinct difference between your left and right hands.
often there is a distinct difference between what is living on your left hand and what is living on your right hand.
Weird.
And
Why?
I don't
you
know.
because we do so much more stuff with whatever
you're dominant
hand
hand.
stuff.
I mean,
all
it's
the-
all. It seems all logical, and once
Hmm.
you start like learning about it, but still, it's just
it's
like,
crazy.
what the hell is this?
Yeah, I
This
have
is
like one
weird.
Here's
cabinet
a
of microbes
question
here and one
that I
cabinet of
that I could
microbes
never
here.
ask if it weren't holy fucking science. But do you think that guys have a bunch of like dick bacteria on their right hands?
Oh, they sure.
Oh, probably.
Wait, Stefan has
I
something
don't
to
know.
say.
You guys
What I
answer
was
that.
thinking about was, like, I wonder if you could connect some of that to what hand you wipe with.
Right? Yeah.
Ah.
Yeah.
Which is,
But there's
'cause that
bacteria
hand is down,
everywhere.
up, that down, down, again, all up
Yeah,
and
there
down.
are some pretty
Down-
obvious
down, up, all
explanations for the differences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But I want
They
someone
haven't
to measure the amount of dick bacteria on dudes.
And is it directly
Dominant
proportional
hands.
to their rate of daily masturbation?
Right,
You
yeah.
know, like you have
Mhm.
more dick bacteria.
Or if you could like be like,
isn't where you were
if you could
going,
actually
Catherine, was
measure
it?
whether or not
Okay,
somebody's
but, right,
lying
these
about
are-
how much
these
they
are the
masturbate
jokes.
through their dick bacteria on their hand.
Here come the goofs, guys.
Hey, we're up to 30 people now live
Get
streaming.
ready for
Oh.
the goofs. Anyway, so I started thinking about how that can be related among family members, and there is definite correlation between members of the same household they've found.
Mm.
So people who live in the same space obviously share a lot of the same microbiome,
Mhm.
and often they also share a lot of those bacteria with their pets. And people who have
Makes
closer
sense.
relationships with their dogs and their
Chickens,
couple,
pigs.
yeah, like all that stuff is
Mhm.
getting passed around. So yeah, that is definitely a thing.
Mhm.
And it is they're not sure what it has, what kind of impact it makes on family units, but
You know what I've heard too is that like they share it with places
mhm.
too, so people could actually potentially be identified by place based on like the bacteria on the farm. Like the
Well-
kids will always be associated.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
whole
some
lives,
of the
yeah, like-
Yeah.
Well, I
yeah.
guess until you take antibiotics, how much of your
No, it comes back.
I mean,
biome
it doesn't like
is
do anything to
killed.
your outside. Really.
Right. So all your outside microbiome stays the same.
Yeah.
for-
Interesting. How much of your internal biome goes away?
what
when you take
happens
antibiotics,
is
though?
it impacts it, but
in
it
general,
doesn't.
in a healthy system,
Yeah.
you decrease everything pretty much the same amount, and then it all comes back in the same proportions.
Because
So
it's
you're
all
not
still
you're not
there.
actually
Wipe out
eliminating all of
everything.
them, basically,
Yeah.
and, which is what you're doing to whatever bacteria has infected your body. You're just reducing it to a manageable level
right,
for
and
your
then
body's
everything
immune
sort of
system.
comes back and
That makes me feel better
Right.
about antibiotics.
Yeah, and I mean, it's really the people who have, impacted immune system already who have the hardest time
Right.
dealing with that.
Mhm.
So-
And then there are certain bacteria that are just really good at growing back after a loss. Like Clostridium difficile that's the problem, is that particular bacteria is like perfect, everything's dead.
Yeah.
Like now I'm in
My
charge.
turn.
And you can give that person more antibiotics, and as long as like there's one left, it'll be like, and it's still there's nothing around except for me, and I can take over.
Yeah.
And so then you have to put somebody else's poop inside of them.
Yep.
So good. Fecal transplants.
Yeah.
Oh, we've talked about
My
this a lot
faves.
over the years. I
Yeah,
feel like.
it's a
yeah.
very important topic.
Yeah.
We love poop. And they research within families, and this is not, it's hard to, make conclusions from a small sample size. Like within this one family, the young boy has a smaller number of this type of bacteria, and he has also a lot of seasonal allergies or food allergies, and the rest of the family has a higher amount of this other type of gut bacteria, and they don't have any of those problems. So, they're sort of very recently starting to research all of this, because they, like the Human Genome Project, they did the Human Microbiome Project.
That's still going, right? Or is that over now? And they have all sorts
They've
of...
pretty much completed it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
2012, I think, maybe. And
There's always more.
yeah, I mean,
Right.
they're still
No,
they're
for
still
sure.
researching it, but
Mhm.
it was, they discovered 100 trillion.
Yeah,
Ridiculous.
because we each have like how many
Potential
on us? Like,
species
did you
of-
run into like
of
numbers? Do we have
bacteria on us.
hundreds? Do we have
Oh,
thousands?
species?
Do we like on each of us?
I think
Oh,
there's
trillions.
Like
No,
different
not of
species?
trees.
Not of trees.
Total for
Individual.
sure. For sure.
Yeah, it's
but
definitely
in
thousands.
species, yeah, I think it is in the thousands.
Mhm.
And
It's
like
definitely
how
thousands.
different
And
would
it's
like
very
your
hard to tell,
biome
like,
be than like
'cause
my
it's so similar.
biome?
So, sometimes the species blend could be like it's a continuum, and like these two, like one on this side of the continuum and one on this side of the continuum, aren't the same species, but they can both breed with one in the middle of the continuum. And so it's like, well, where, because
Yeah. Are
bacteria
these separate
grow so
species?
fast
Yeah.
Are they actually?
that they
Yeah.
differentiate really fast. And
They
yeah.
do it with DNA, so that's how
Right.
they kind of differentiate them,
Mhm.
is by separating them by DNA. And then I was thinking about how our microbiome like sort of begins, because
Yeah.
although typical dogma was that the infant was sterile when it was in the womb, that's been disproven
I
recently.
didn't know that.
Because they, when the baby comes out and the meconium is its first poop, that's the poop of whatever it's been digesting when it's
Mm-hmm.
Its own
in the-
hair.
well,
Yeah.
it's like in the
Yeah, its own
amniotic
blood.
fluid. It's
Its
what
own
it's
hair
been
and
Yeah, a lot
blood.
of-
It's a
taking
cr-
in.
it's a
Yeah, all that
crazy
fur
poop.
that it has
There
before
is
it's like
there
born.
is
Yeah.
biota in there. There
Mm.
are
Oh.
bacteria in
Interesting. How?
Where did they come
Where did those
that. So
come
that's
from?
the
Right?
question.
Right?
They're
Where
not
did the-
sure.
Holy fucking science! I'm
I
super
think
interested.
need
Yeah.
to-
Oh,
Is
sorry,
it
were you gonna say it?
coming-
Did I take it away?
But, like-
Well, I know, but
yes,
inside the placenta, like still, like
Exactly.
does the body
Yeah.
decide which ones are gonna get up in
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, so that's the
And,
question.
Like
is
I get it
like,
from
is
the
it coming-
vagina, but
right?
like, I
Is
get
it
that.
coming up through the vagina into the cervix and then getting
Huh.
into the
Like sort of
amniotic fluid that way?
So
or is
maybe
it
don't
coming
use douches,
through the
people. Like those
umbilical
bacteria are
cord
really
blood?
important for babies.
yeah, through the blood. What?
Because
just
a
a
lot because they have found
PSA against douches. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know.
Just in general.
Just maybe.
Well, it's like every episode of Holy Fucking Science should have a PSA against douches.
They don't.
Seriously.
Yeah,
Oh.
Your vagina cleans itself,
Yep.
everyone.
It's great.
Boom.
It's doing its job.
It's doing its thing.
Stop that. But yeah, so like, and the bacteria in the meconium is both mouth, like mother's mouth and gut bacteria, and vaginal bacteria. So how are those things getting in there?
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And the other interesting thing is this vertical transfer of microbiota doesn't just happen in humans. It happens in a lot of species.
Sure.
And it doesn't
Yeah.
just happen
Mhm.
in
Huh.
animals. It happens in it doesn't just happen in what is the word I'm looking for? Mammals?
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Mhm.
placental mammals. It happens in shellfish and like
Oh.
insects.
Mm-hmm.
So Interesting.
Wait, why? Yeah.
Yeah.
What are those
So, I
first
mean-
bacteria doing? Like, why?
Yeah, what are they doing there?
Potentially critical
Mm-hmm.
for development. Who
Well, yeah,
knows?
and that's the like the
for
thing.
particular duties.
I mean, and they know that like there's a difference between a baby who is born vaginally and a baby who is born via C-section. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they get a completely different first complement of bacteria because they're not passing through the birth canal.
They
And
should
it doesn't
why-
like
Why don't they take the like if it's actually like if it's a significant effect?
yeah, just
Smear
like,
them with
rub
some
'em around.
vaginal
Yeah, just rub 'em
fluids. Just
around.
get up in there.
I
Yeah.
mean, or just like take a sample.
that's the
Why
thing.
and
not?
then
I
it's like,
think that's
maybe they
actually
have.
really
Like,
interesting.
like-
And I
Just like
and I think that's the thing.
one of
Like
those
they're
syringe
they're not
squirties.
sure if it is a significant
How do
effect.
turkey-
how do
a turkey
vagina- a
baster?
turkey baster? How do
Just get a
vaginas work?
turkey
I don't know
baster.
what's up. You okay, baby? How are you doing?
I mean, it's not just like a lake up in there.
Yeah, I know. There's like get up in any fluids. I mean, it's
It's not just like
some
it's
Q-tips.
not just like a
maybe.
balloon of liquid. Anyway, yeah,
Just a swab, I guess.
yeah. There you go.
Holy fucking science. It's not like a lake up there. We title this episode, It's Not Like a Lake Up There.
People will watch.
It's like an underground lake.
It's on Catherine's Wikipedia now. Katherine Green. Well, it's not like a lake up there. Grown.
Anyway, so yeah, family microbiome is sort of a thing that is
Yeah. There was a lot.
just
there
a
was
lot of
good
a
stuff
lot
in
of
there.
things to
Mhm.
research
Yeah.
and not a lot of answers at the moment.
Yeah. And this represents like
It's
such a
still really
huge
complicated.
change of like how we view bacteria from like 20 or 30
Right.
years ago.
Well,
I mean,
and it was just like
huge.
when the human genome was finally sequenced, we were like, we will have the answers to everything.
Yeah.
No. Because
Yeah.
things are more complicated than that. And
complicated.
so, like, when this was sequenced, they were like, answers. Oh, God
Oh,
damn
wow.
it.
Damn
That
it.
turns out it's really
Again?
complicated.
Still, yeah, really complicated. But yeah, and also, I mean, yeah, it's just opened up a whole lot of things. The hygiene
Mm-hmm.
hypothesis, you know,
Yeah, and
and
getting-
like how
Did they just,
Getting dirt, getting dogs.
am I making this up? Did they just outlaw antibiotics in hand soap?
Yeah,
mhm.
they did.
Yay.
They did do that.
antibacterial
It
hand
turns,
Yes.
turns out that it does nothing good.
and cleaner
Right.
and cleaning.
Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes. Yes.
and it's
Yes.
like-
No,
The
you're
only
just
thing that
creating
that
antibiotic
does-
resistant bacteria.
Yeah, the same thing. It like leaves the
Brilliant.
stuff that's bad.
It's-
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Mhm.
not just that it doesn't help.
It's
and
actually
it's not,
harmful.
and it's not just that it like I don't
Yeah.
think that it necessarily creates antibiotic resistant bacteria because the stuff's pretty like it's very hard for a bacteria to be resistant to this stuff. Like they just fucking die. It kills everything.
Except for that.
No, it's like a physical process that kills them. It's not like an antibiotic. Like if you take penicillin, that's interfering with like some small like thing that's like some molecular process in
So
the ant-
triclosan. That's like one of the ones they use in that. Like what?
I don't actually know how triclosan works.
I think
But I-
that's
but
one
I
of the
think
ones
that
they
one
used
that-
in hand soaps, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
that's
so
one
what?
of the,
So what is
that's
that? I
one
mean,
of
I
the ones
understand
that's
that
banned.
alcohol is a
was in
physical, like it breaks
toothpaste,
down the
too.
cell walls.
Yeah.
Like
Like
alcohol breaks down the cell walls, so that makes sense. Although, why couldn't the bacteria just develop thicker cell walls? I mean, all this shit is like scary. When you start attacking it with the same thing over and over
Yeah.
and over again,
Mhm.
it's gonna develop resistance.
Mhm.
Which is why, like, you
So
should
they
just
just-
people like hospitals should be switching between
Yeah.
things.
Yes.
And if they just switched between things, then we'd all be okay.
Yeah, but I think that it's also like triclosan also like is bad for people.
Mm.
It-
Oh,
it's
right,
an
because it's
endocrine
killing all of our it's
endocrine
killing all of our
disruptor.
little
No,
worlds
because-
of bacteria.
because it's an
No?
endocrine disruptor. Like
Oh
it's like
my.
it's like a exogenous estrogen or something.
yeah,
Oh,
it
dear.
makes it
Yeah.
makes fish
That sounds.
It turns dude fish into lady fish.
makes fish
Oh.
not good fish anymore.
And if we can't know the gender of fish, what do we even know anymore?
What? We don't know anything.
I don't know what it does to fish. I just made that up.
I don't know.
It gives fish 3 eyeballs and then they eat it at the Simpsons table and they cut off a piece and then it jumps away.
Blinky.
Blinky.
Oh.
I'm glad. Thanks, Dave. I'm glad you were there for me.
It's from like
All
1991.
of
So
that I do
Yeah,
this thing.
we're all old. It's
I do
okay.
this thing.
Last piece of holy fucking science for everyone.
Yeah, lay it on me, man.
Terry Kisser. Or possibly Kaiser.
Kissed who?
Was born in
Kisser.
August
Oh.
1st,
Oh, it doesn't matter.
1939.
Mhm.
So he's 78 years old. Not dead yet. The man who played Bernie in Weekend at Bernie's.
Thank God we know that information.
Do you think his obit is writ yet?
Real like
Is
that.
that one of
I
the-
was like, how many people have like already written and saved in their drafts a tweet about Terry Kisser dying and being like, well, I wonder if they're gonna put some strings on him.
It would be a
One, me, that's for sure.
It would you
Hank's-
just get that ready to
Hank's
go. Write
composing it
write
right
that tweet
now.
right now.
Putting it in his draft.
Yeah.
Composing it.
No,
And then
no, it's
Set
work
your
on
Google,
some
set your
real-
Google alert
Real
for
good jokes.
some good old jokes.
he's 78.
He's 78. He's still alive, still
I
kicking,
guess those
still doing
movies
his
were like
thing.
25 years ago, right?
He has a movie coming up right now called The Kingsbury Run in 2017, and also another movie called Running, which is a weird coincidence. And also last year he was Mort in Almosting It, which I've never heard
And
of.
then Weekend at Bernie's 6.
There was only two. The
Yeah.
third one was just a YouTube video of people messing around and being dumb.
You know, it's the most interesting part of the podcast when Hank just reads things from IMDb. It just gets real good, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, I was waiting for this for so long."
I mean, I'm surprised
I have
that
been
he's
waiting
78.
for the part where Hank reads from IMDb.
Does that mean it's time to end?
I feel so called out right now.
Bust.
Wow. Dear Hank and John is going to be totally different from now on. I'm never going to read from IMDb. It's only going to happen on This Week in Ryan's.
I'm interested in it.
I mean, okay, it's just like
Is it a thing? How often does it happen? Because it seems like probably a lot now that I'm thinking about it.
IMDb on this show?
No, on Dear Hank and John. I feel like I end up like reading off IMDb or like browsing towns in Switzerland on Google Maps, and I'm like, wow, there's a town in Switzerland called Uckel. And John's like, we're supposed to be answering questions, and I'm like, this one's called Dlinko. I just get really
I mean-
interested.
Yeah. It's fine. I think that's fine. And that's how people's brains work. But sometimes it's just like,
Oh man.
is it coming out in 2017? Wow.
Well, in any case, we gotta let Heather and Dave go off on their date night, and we gotta go home and relieve the babysitters. So this has been an episode of a podcast. It was filmed by Caitlin Hofmeister, sound by Stefan Chin. I don't know who directs us anymore because Lou left. Directed by me, Hank Green. I told everybody what
Nice
to
work.
do. Do it. I have been Hank Green
I'm Katherine Green.
I have been in the past, Heather McKee.
and still are.
Still are.
And I'm
Still
still
am.
Dave Loos.
And this has been Holy
Holy
fucking
fucking
science.
Guys.
Good job,
Yes.
everyone. Really on sync.